This lesson is just using the properties of exponents, the product rule, the division rule, and the power rule in order to simplify expressions. So your answers in these ones will not have an exponent. What they just want you to do is realize that if I have 11 to the 8th over 11 to the 6th, since the bases are the same, I can subtract 6 from 8. I can get 11 squared, but they actually want you to evaluate it and write it as 121. Same thing here, since I have 8 times 4, both have an exponent of 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing 8 squared is 64 times 4 squared is 16, and then obviously do have a calculator handy. 64 times 16, I don't expect you to have memorized 64, so if you can't see it, I'm actually using a calculator to do 64 times 16, and I get 1024, right? But that one, you might not have been able to use any really properties of exponents, but as you move down, again, some of them you can that would be very nice to do. Like for instance, this 9 squared over 6 squared, realize that's 9 over 6 where the whole fraction's squared, but I can reduce the 9 and the 6 to 3 halves. So I'm actually really just squaring 3 and squaring 2 to get 9 over 4, not 9 halves, 9 over 4. 2 squared is 4. And that would have been easier than doing 81 over 36 because you'd have to reduce. They will want your answers reduced. Here again, I'm just going to add those two exponents since the bases are the same. I get 4 to the negative 2 power, but they want you to evaluate it. The negative means to bring the 4 down, and I'm going to square it in the denominator, so I'm still not done. It's 1 over 16 would be your final answer. Again, here, there's really not much to do as far as the rules other than the negative means to bring them down. So I have a 1 over 11 squared is 121. 7 to the negative 1 just means it's going to be a 7. I'm actually going to multiply those together and get, what is that going to be? 14, so 847. Right? So they actually just want you to evaluate it. Now, make sure you do things that are easy. Like, for instance, 11 to the 0, that just becomes a 1. So 5 squared is 25 times 9. 25 times 9 is 225. So try to use your properties of exponents. Don't just use your calculator and plug this in. Otherwise, you're not really learning anything. Here, what I would recognize is that I have a negative 8 and a positive 7. Those two combined is a negative 1. So I have a 12 to the negative 1 and one more 12 to the negative 1, or a 12 to the negative 2. That's 1 over 144. Negative exponent means bring it down, and 12 squared is 144. So I added the exponents. Last one, and then I'll let you get to work. Again, here, look for things that cancel. 3 to the 7th on top and 3 to the 7th on bottom, well, that's just going to go away. 3 to the 0, that's a 1. That just goes away. What are we left with? We're left with just 3 to the negative 2. So that means I'm going to bring the 3 down. I'm going to square it, and it'll be 1/9. So try to use your properties of exponents when you're doing this exercise to get better and better at your rules of exponents, and we will see you in class.